Good morning. It's time for Gridiron Dice Drives. This is game one of week one of the 1961 Continental Football League. Again, I'm using an early era chart, so my scoring is closer to the 1930s, 20s, 30s, 40s than it would be for modern football of the 60s. I will, at the end of the season, depending on the condition of the six teams, the owners will have a vote to decide if they want to change the rules more toward their competitors. The American Football League having success, and the NFL, of course, the flagship measuring stick of all professional football leagues currently in history. So, depending on how the season goes and what condition my six teams are in financially, the owners might decide to make the rule changes necessary to push into the modern era charts. But I will make a random check every year for that. I have no problem with the games being low scoring, etc. So I'm alright with that. But it only makes sense that at some point teams would tweak rules to transition to a modern version. All right, here we go. So we got Raleigh. Again, these teams are their first games of the year. Portsmouth managed to lure Raleigh to her house. Raleigh this year is actually pretty generous with road games, so pretty interesting. All right, first we need to check the weather here, and we'll go ahead and roll to see what the weather is. Portsmouth is +1 to the weather, so it could be kind of nasty here. No, it's going to be, it's going to be cold. So what does that mean? Weather is cold. That means +1 to injury checks. So the cold weather drives up the injury checks. So if there's an injury, we're in trouble, right? All right, so let's go ahead and roll to see Raleigh. Odd, they win the coin toss. They win the coin toss. Raleigh wants the ball, so it will be Raleigh taking the ball. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for 22 possessions. All right, so Raleigh will take the ball to start. Let's go ahead and get their edges. Raleigh is up 0 versus Portsmouth's +1, so they are going to be on the defensive edge. So Raleigh is defense. It's going to be low scoring. Portsmouth is 0 versus 1, also defense. So there we have it, folks. Raleigh, these two teams avoided any changes in the offseason, right? All right, so before we kick off, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting visiting team, Raleigh Rebels. Quarterback Black had a pretty good season last year. This team went 1-2-2. O'Shea at running back. He collected, I think, 1 touchdown on the year. Stallings is their chief receiver. Their punter is Bosley, place kicker, and their punter can be a bit swingy. Let's put it that way. Their place kicker, Wilbert, is fantastic. Their return man, Stallings. This team is coached by Allen. He's a -1 head coach. But they do have a average offensive coordinator in White. They have a DC, a +1 in Cooper. And their special teams coordinator, Stoops, is pretty good as well. Good field goal, good return, good takeaway. Special teams on punts and coverage, okay. Right. This team is owned by John Moody and GM'd by Jack Owens. All right, they have $3 in the bank, so they're sitting pretty right now. Portsmouth is coached by Hill. Their OC is a +1 Bishop, so Portsmouth's got all the coaching staff. +1 defensive coordinator Cornblue. Special teams coach is Williams. He's average. Barnes at quarterback, Morris at halfback, Crenshaw at wide receiver. Their punter Hill is pretty good. Porter is a little below average, and Crenshaw also returns as a return man, and he is very good. Owned by Martin Timmons, and he's also the GM. And we are at Oliver Coliseum in Portsmouth. All right, so let's go ahead and do the kickoff. Here we go. Raleigh with a kick return is 5. It's going to be a good kick return, but no bonus. And let's get this game underway in the cold today. So unseasonably cold for the first game of the year, as we've got a cold front moving in from some Canadian. We'll blame the Canadians for the cold front coming down to Portsmouth, right? Or maybe a northeaster, right? Of course, again, early in the season, unseasonably cold, both teams could suffer injury. All right, the Raleigh Rebels go to work on the defensive edge chart. Remember, we subtract offense from defense. This is our fast eye. Or we just get the difference between offense and defense. +2, no other modifiers. +2 is going to be a no man's land. And that's going to lead to a punt. So they get into no man's land. Coach waves it off, says, nope, let's pin them. And they're going to punt. And we now have Portsmouth with the ball at +0. Portsmouth also using the defensive edge. They go to work. They're going to be +1. And that's going to be +1 for them is a straight punt. So they're going to punt away. Raleigh at +0. Let's see if somebody can break the ice here. +3 is a productive drive for Raleigh. I'm afraid that, +2 place kicking though. Productive drive, so they drive down into field goal range, or technically productive drive puts them in a situation, and 4 is their fast dive. So +2, 4 is made a long field goal, so they're going to get a long field goal by Wilbert. And he was their star last year. Most of their points came on the back. Most of the points in the league came off of field goals. So he bangs through a long field goal in the bitter cold, giving the visiting team Raleigh a 3-0 lead. Portsmouth now with the kick return. And you notice I did roll the opening kickoff, right? That is an option, and I chose to do that, right? I'll do it after halftime too. And 6, big return. Portsmouth's Crenshaw. And he is a +2. However, you don't modify kickoffs. That's for punts. But either way, and in the college game, you'll use returns on punt returns because Canadian game. But either way, he has a fantastic return, setting up Portsmouth's offense. The crowd on their feet, seeing what a great return Crenshaw made. Let's see if the Portsmouth Spartans can put things into gear and make this an interesting game here. They snap the ball. It's going to be a -2. Nope, they're going to get ground down, and on 4th and long, they'll have to punt. Raleigh now coming up to the end of the first quarter, and Raleigh with a 3-0 lead. They're playing with house money right now, and they will have to punt. First quarter comes to an end. Raleigh 3, Portsmouth 0, and the hometown fans on their feet cheering on Barnes, Morris, and Crenshaw. They need one of these guys to have a big day. +3, they're going to get a productive drive. But 1 with a -1 kicker is not going to be good. So they get into a productive drive, but -1 and a 1 is a missed, -1 and a 1 is a punt. So fortunately, though, that punt is no effect there on that particular punt. So Raleigh sitting pretty. Their defense getting the job done. Again, these are defensive teams. When I rolled this league up, I knew immediately that there's going to be a defensive league. And in the early charts, I knew it would be a low-scoring league. And all those things meet my expectations of what I expect this to look like. So that's fine by me. -2 is punt. Damn. So Raleigh. Raleigh is leaving the door open for Portsmouth's quarterback, Barnes, to come back here and make this interesting before halftime. It's going to be -2. They're going to have to punt. And right now, folks, this is old school football. Both teams measuring, trying to get into position. It's going to be -1 punt. Portsmouth with their final drive in the first half. And they're going to get a +1. +1 is a punt on the defensive charts. Raleigh gets the ball last before halftime, up 3-0. And Raleigh will fail to move it. They just punted away for safety. Folks, we get to halftime. The crowd out of their seats, going to the lavatory, getting their concessions here in 1961. And Wilbert is right now Raleigh's star. To give you an idea, of this 3-0 game. I did not record any videos when I was wrapping up the first year. I wanted to get the first year wrapped up quickly, so I didn't record them because I wanted to do the off-season stuff on the channel while I could. Where's my schedules? I'm trying to find the schedule to give me an idea of what the games are, you know. So let's see, 6-3, 6-6. Weeks 4, 9-0, 7-7, 3-0, 6-7, 0-0 tie, 7-0, 3-0, 3-0, 7-6, 0-0, 0-3, 10-10 tie, Canton and Detroit, and then 3-0, 3-0, and 0-0 tie for Muncie against Chicago, who would have been the toughest team they would have seen. So that's an average per game of about 4 points, 5 points. So again, here we are, 3-0 at halftime, and Portsmouth gets the ball. But there were quite a few 3-0, 6-0, and 7-7, 6-6. So again, we're right on pace, right, with these defensive league and these defensive teams. All right, Portsmouth's kickoff. Let's see if they can get another good one. No, they don't, but it didn't hurt them. They're not injured, so that's what counts. All right, here we go. Can Portsmouth get going here? It's going to be a +3. Yes, they're going to get a productive drive. Unfortunately, a -1 kicker in Porter on a 4 chart. -1 kicker on a 4 chart is a missed long field goal. So he tries the long field goal, and he misses, does Porter. And the fans here don't like it. They wanted him to go for it or punt it away, and they didn't do that. So a missed long field goal gives the opponent a +1. So to top it off, Raleigh has a short field. So, but in the cold, Porter's toe hits that football, and it feels like a brick. Here we go. It's going to be -1. Punt for Raleigh. And Portsmouth. Let's see what they do. It's going to be -2. Punt. Man, Portsmouth, you know they're literally salivating at the idea of tying this game. Raleigh goes to work. It's going to be -4. There it is. Their defense may make the biggest play of the game. Turnover. Okay, so ball security. This is Raleigh. Raleigh is -2, +1. Holy cow. So that's going to be -3. I rolled a 4 on the turnover chart. Where are we at here? 4, -4, but we got a -2 +1, so -1. 4 is turnover, so they're going to fumble it away. Fumble lost, and Portsmouth takes the ball away. Fortunately, it's at midfield, so they don't get a bonus, but they do strip the ball away. And Portsmouth now with a chance at midfield. Can they tie this game going into the 4th? Oh, +5. They do better than that. They drive down to the red zone, folks. The crowd on their feet is Barnes, pitches to Morris. Morris picks up 10 yards. And then Barnes drops back, finds Crenshaw on a 16-yard. They're now down into the red zone. And I rolled a 1. This is so sad. It's going to be a goal line stand. Oh, it is. Goal line. They get down, the crowd roaring. The coach, who's a -1, no, actually Hill's a +1, but he looks to his offensive coordinator, Bishop, who also plays right guard, and says, "Bish, can we get it?" And he says, "Let's go for it. Let's go for it, Hill." No, goal line stand. Raleigh is awesome. Raleigh takes over, though, at a -1. So he looked to his right guard in the huddle. That's their OC / remember back in the day. Of course, again, we're not back in the day. It's the 60s. So I'm thinking that this is like the 1920s, which I should have made my league I just should have made it 1930. It's just what I should have did. You can just see him in the huddle go, "Bish, can we get it? Hell yeah, let's go for it." They're all caught up in the crowd in Portsmouth on their feet, and it's a bad decision. They could have maybe tied the game with a field goal. Raleigh, though, now sitting at their own 4-yard line, they go to work, and Raleigh with a -2 is going to punt from their end. Portsmouth running out of time to tie or win this game. They had a great drive and they blew it. It's going to be a punt. Raleigh closing in as they want to chew clock and end this game without a mistake. -3 is a potential turnover. Bad punt. 3 tells us on the charts 3 is a bad punt. So we're going to have to roll again. Bad punt. So Raleigh -2 coverage, -2 and return is +2 even. We got to roll again. Bad punt even. 3 is a punt. So they end up getting a bounce, right? It's a bad punt, but it hits on the hard turf and takes a Raleigh bounce. And Portsmouth, lucky though that the ball dies in reasonable territory. All right, Portsmouth's with about 5 minutes to play. They're running out of time. They're going to get a -2, and that's another punt. So they're willing to punt it away, hoping Raleigh makes one final mistake. Raleigh's final drive of the game, up 3-0. And Raleigh's going to get a +2 no man's land punt because of that fast drop die is a punt. This is it. Portsmouth's final drive of the game. They're kicking the tires, and Barnes is talking to Crenshaw and his offensive line. Protect me. I got to heave a couple of bombs here. See if we can't make this a comeback. And it's going to be +1. +1 is a punt. Nope. They get it out of their territory, and they end up losing this game, folks, 3-0. And Raleigh will be 1-0. Portsmouth falls to 0-1. Now, let's go ahead and do our economy right now. Okay, so remember, all games played cost 2. So Raleigh, right, this is a -2 road win, right? Their road win, though, gives them, let's go back here to our economy. Go ahead and do this. I did it at the end of the year, which took me time. Ideally, you should just do it as you play, and then at the end of the year, you'll already know if teams are. You'll have to do your road guarantees and all that. But where is my monies? Okay, they got a. Here we go. Road win. 2. So they got +2. And -2. So Raleigh breaks even on this game. Portsmouth, okay, -2 for the cost of the game, just to pay your players, your staff, etc. And a home loss, they earn 2. Home loss +2. They're going to come out with 0. And remember, both of these teams right now are okay, because they both have $3 in the bank, and as long as they don't spend that $3, they won't be in a cash crisis. So they're okay, but neither team earned anything here. So they got the win, which is going to be good toward a winning season, which could pay off, and good toward being the champion. But a road win is a break-even game for Raleigh. Portsmouth, a home loss because they get a higher gate revenue, is also a break-even. So neither team, and again, this is a game where you have to decide what would be most important to owners would be, are we making money? What's most important to fans is a winning ball club. What's most important to players, that they have a job, right? So depending on where you sit in a game like this, right, you have to look at everything from a perspective of, again, I play this as the journalist, the chronicler, the commissioner, and just because I'm fascinated by the ebb and flow of sports career. But for the owners, they're like, okay, we're doing all right. We broke even here. Owners obviously want to be winners too, but it would be the fans that would be the most disappointed in Portsmouth. The owners would at least count the gate receipts and go, okay, well, at least we can pay our players, and we're okay. But perspective would be different if this was an ownership game or if this was a play-to-win game, right? But Raleigh opens up the season with a victory. They won last year. Let's see what they did last year. I think last year they won their opener as well. Let's find the schedule for last year. Raleigh finished 1-2-2. So getting that first win, you think it builds momentum, but I think Raleigh ended up, that was their only win of the year. Where is my damn schedule? Ah, there it is. So Raleigh, oh no, that's right, they had a bye. Oh, no, they lost. So Raleigh did not win. And then they tied. They won 9-0 in week 4 at home against New York. And they were 1-1-1. So the last time Raleigh had a even record or a winning record was week 4 last year. And then they were 1-2. And then they were 1-2-2, and that was the end of their season. So poor Raleigh. They won finally in week 4 and ended up with a losing record. They scored 24 points, gave up 26, but they made $3. Jeez, unbelievable. New York had an argument. They were the best team in the league, but they only scored 19, gave up 24. Allentown at 3-2-1 had 36 points and 29, gave up 29, but they lost to Canton. Canton had 54 points, scored 55, gave up 54, but Canton beat both Muncie and Allentown. And Muncie was 3-2-1, scored 25, gave up 31. So the only two teams with a pro point differential, positive point differential, was Canton and Allentown. And Canton beat Allentown 3-0. So, I mean, it's like soccer scores, man, or rugby. Actually rugby they probably score more, right? Unbelievable. So anyway, the owners, I will vote to see if the owners make the transition to the modern era rules in the off season. Or during this season, they'll have an owner meeting, and that'll dictate whether we turn to the modern game next year as far as changing passing rules, etc. This might have been a league of owners in 1960 that said, hey, for us to compete against the AFL and the NFL, we need to play football like our founding fathers intended. So let's give Americans what football used to be. And well, we don't have any idea whether fans find this boring or not, right? But it's accurate. It's exactly old era football. All right, thanks for watching. This has been Gridiron, Dice, and Drives. Remember, this was the very first proof book. And so I took the first book that Dell and I were right on the cusp of printing, and I had this sent to me before we finished it. So there will be some slight differences in your book and in your page numbers and maybe in typos and things. So mine is raw, like pre-publication proof. So you may get slightly different. You might hear different results from that book than you might have in your book. All right, that's it. Game 1 of 1961, well underway. Again, Portsmouth had a chance. They missed a long field goal. They also took the ball away on a fumble. It got all the way down to the red zone, and he trusted his offensive coordinator's opinion, and they went for it, and Raleigh held. Again, it's a defensive league, so unbelievable. And the fans, in the radio, and among their water fountains at work and school, in the gymnasium, as the crew cut kids are shooting the basketball around the gymnasium, they're talking about why they didn't kick the field goal and get that tie. That's going to mean more in the league standings later. All right, everybody, have a great, great week. Bye-bye.